So we keep going. We keep scrolling, we keep working, we keep distracting ourselves, we keep telling ourselves that, this is fine. Like, as long as my head is busy, as long as I have something to do, then it's all fine. It's all good. We tell ourselves we'll rest once this list is done, but the list never ends, doesn't it? Good evening, good morning, or good afternoon to you, dear listener, dear watcher, dear individual. You've tuned into a quiet frequency that doesn't always exist. It slips between the cracks of sleepless hours, found only when the world has finally stopped moving. It hums softly between stations and shadows, gathering the faintest murmurs of forgotten souls, half remembered dreams, and the lingering echoes of hearts that, like mine, never quite learned how to rest. This space, this fragile corner of static and stillness, is where the living speak in hushed tones to the dead. And sometimes, the dead find their way to whisper back. Probably it's to our dearly departed souls, or sometimes the death of wishes that were never fulfilled, words that were never said, thoughts and memories that ended up becoming forgotten. Each night, I sit here and watch as the glow of the waking world fades, one window at a time, one heartbeat at a time. The streets empty, the voices fade, and the air grows heavy, thick with the weight of all the words that were never said. Regrets, promises, quiet goodbyes that never quite reach the air. And that's what draws you here, isn't it? Not the noise, but the familiarity of the quiet and the silence. That familiar ache that stirs when the world finally goes still. When silence becomes so loud, it becomes to sound like a memory. So, come closer. Wrap yourself in warmth, a blanket, a sweater, a lingering dream, or whatever keeps the cold from finding you. Let the darkness settle gently around us. The night is long, but you don't have to wander through it alone. Not while the signal still hums. Not while someone is still here. Not while I'm still here, listening, talking with you. I'm your phantom broadcaster, Makeeya, and we're broadcasting from somewhere between the living and the dead. You're tuned in to the Midnight Radio. We'll start off tonight's episode with our letters from the sleepless, which we actually got quite a number of letters for this episode. So let's start with the first one from Little Miss Restless. So Little Miss Restless says, "Dear Makeeya, I don't think I remember what real rest feels like anymore. I wake up tired. I go to bed tired. And somewhere between those two moments, I try to make myself feel like I'm being productive. I'm a student, and it feels like my life is just a never-ending list of things to do. I tell myself that once I finish this project, or this paper, or this semester, I'll finally take it easy. But the next thing always comes. Another assignment, another expectation, another reminder that I'm not doing enough. Even when I lie down, my brain keeps racing. It thinks about what I forgot, what I should have done, what everyone else is already doing better. Sometimes I can't even enjoy a movie without guilt, whispering that I'm wasting time. I think I'm scared that if I stop moving, I'll fall behind. That the world will keep on turning without me and I'll be left somewhere still, forgotten, and chasing. Sincerely, Little Miss Restless." The world does move fast, doesn't it? Like a current that refuses to slow down, sweeping you along even when you're too tired to swim. But I think here's what most people tend to forget: the current doesn't define the swimmer. You do. You're allowed to float for a while. You're allowed to rest without guilt. Because honestly, here's a bit of truth that I also had to learn quite of like the hard way. Exhaustion isn't a proof of dedication, honestly, it's not. And even if we kind of like wired our brains to think so, it really isn't. It's not worth it. It's proof that you've been carrying too much for too long. I definitely know the voice in your head, the one that hisses, you should be doing more. I think it's an echo of fear and not the truth. Productivity isn't a measure of worth. And honestly, you're allowed to breathe without having to earn it. So, here's my challenge to you for tonight, little Miss Restless. Tonight, when the world goes quiet, just allow it. Let it move without you, just for a little while. Let the deadlines wait outside of your dreams. The world will still be there in the morning. It will be, yeah. Right now, you deserve to meet it rested. You deserve to meet it in your full capacity, or at least in the best way that you can. You deserve to meet it as not your broken self. So for tonight, for just a bit, allow yourself to take a break. So let your thoughts go silent and let tomorrow's problems be tomorrow's problems. Yeah, I felt that. I felt that down to my core. Our next one is a letter from the Sleepless Tired. Sleepless Tired says, "Dear Phantom Broadcaster, I don't remember the last time I let myself rest without feeling guilty about it. Even when I try to relax, like when I watch something, when I scroll mindlessly, or just stare at the wall to breathe, there's this voice in my head that says I'm wasting time, that I should be doing more, fixing more, and becoming more. Genuinely, I am exhausted, but I don't think I can stop. It's like my body is running on borrowed energy, and every time I slow down, it feels like I'm disappointing someone. I won't even be surprised if who I'm disappointing is myself. I guess I just don't know how to take it easy anymore. How do I stop feeling guilty for resting? This sounds a lot like our first letter also. So, I kind of like carry the same message, but I think your letter also echoes louder than you know. So many of us, even the sleepless soul listening right now, even me, the phantom broadcaster, somehow carry the same guilt. The guilt of pausing, the guilt of not being productive enough. As if our worth was measured in emotion alone. But let me tell you a little secret. Rest is also a kind of work. It's the work your soul does when the world grows quiet. It's the kind that doesn't earn praise or validation, but sort of like rebuilds you in silence. You don't owe the world constant movement. No, not at all. Sometimes, the kindest and most defiant thing you can do is to stop, to breathe, to just be, you know? To let your body remember what peace feels like. You see, ghosts like me, I do say that the ghost that refuses to rest. We've had all the time in the world, and yet, somehow we still envy the living. Because you have the power to stop and begin again, to rest, and to wake up to another day that is still yours. So, if you're listening right now to this episode, to me, to the hum of your own heartbeat, or your own true, real thoughts, try something fairly simple for tonight. Unclench your jaw. Let your shoulders drop. Let the guilt pass through you like the gentle wind instead of holding it in your chest. You've earned this moment, And just like what I said in the first letter, the world will wait for you. And here on the Midnight Radio, for you guys, for those who are listening, you never have to rush. Find peace. Find peace in this channel. I'm kind of like really feeling these letters on a very, very personal level. Okay, our third one comes from Perfect Not 18. Perfect Not 18 says, Hi Makeeya. Every time I start something, say a drawing, an essay, or even a simple chore like cleaning, I feel this need to do it perfectly. If it's not exactly like how I imagined, I scrap it and start again and again and again until I'm too tired to care. But the guilt never stops. When I finally rest, it's like I'm being haunted by every little mistake I could have fixed, every little way I could have done it better. People tell me to relax or to let it go. But to me, resting feels like failure. Like I've surrendered before the work is even done. I don't know how to stop chasing perfect, even though it's slowly wearing me down. Sincerely, Perfect Not 18. The curse of perfection, or at least the curse of wanting everything to be just, perfect. It's kind of like a gentle, no, not so gentle ghost that follows everyone. The living, the undead, even me, who's neither here nor there. You remind me of an artist I once knew. She painted for years, never finishing a single piece. Each brush stroke was a battle against her own expectations. When she finally passed, they found hundreds of unfinished canvases stacked in her room. Beautiful, haunting, each one a quiet cry or a quiet rebellion against perfection. The truth is, I think perfect is just a mirage. It's a thought that we conjure. It's self-made, Every time you get closer, it moves farther away. It's an expectation that probably no one else really has but yourself. To you, something doesn't look quite right, but to someone else, to someone else's eyes, it looks absolutely, it's something that they would have hoped, they could only hope that they could do. And chasing something like that, sometimes it might even get you to forget why you started at all. We were never meant to create flawless things. We were meant to live through them, to just start and make things better as we go along. To let the smudges, the uneven lines, every single imperfection tell a story of your journey, Sometimes it's part of the story too, and that's what we often forget. Rest isn't failure, my dear little Perfect Not 18. It's a pause, between here and there, a reminder that you are human. And, unlike ghosts, unlike us, humans are allowed to, take on the journey at your own pace. Find joy in this journey and always remember why you started. Always remember to look back and see how far you've gone, even if you're not exactly where you're aiming to be yet. Yeah. And next letter we have is from someone called, hold on. Someone called I Care. Hi Makeeya. I spend most of my time taking care of others. My parents are aging. My siblings need guidance. My friends turn to me when they are lost. I'm honestly grateful that they trust me, but I'm so tired. Sometimes I dream of disappearing for one day. No messages, no responsibilities. But the guilt hits before I even imagined it. What if they need me? What if something happens while I'm gone? People tell me I'm selfless, but I don't feel noble. I feel drained, like I'm slowly fading from my own life while keeping everyone else's running. Is it selfish to want to rest? Ah, you've been carrying the weight of many, many hearts, my dear I care. And that's no small thing. But even the strongest hands tremble when they never put the load down, you know? Your bones might break if there's a weight that you try to keep on carrying but you no longer can. You're not selfish for wanting rest. You're human. Every act of care takes a little piece of you, and you honestly need time to call those pieces back. There's a saying that goes, don't pour from an empty cup, right? Like, what can you pour if you yourself are empty? So, somehow think of yourself as a lantern. You shine so others can see, but if you never refill your oil, the light will eventually fade. Probably that's how you keep the flame alive, you know? Resting is one way to keep the flame alive, to not keep on pouring from an empty cup. You can't pour endlessly without replenishing what you give. The people who love you, they don't need a perfect friend, family member, you know? They need you as a person, alive, soft, gentle, steady, and just also as equally happy as they are. Take your day, have your night. Step away if you must. Let the world hold itself for a while. Honestly, like even the moon hides half of her light sometimes, and no one calls her selfish for doing it. It's just how things are. And last letter that we have here is someone from someone named TMR Listener 19. Dear Makeeya, I don't really know why I'm writing this. I've been listening to the Midnight Radio since it began. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And your voice has kept me company throughout a lot of long, sleepless nights. That's so nice. Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't have a story to tell. Nothing dramatic, honestly. I'm just tired. Not sad. Not angry. Just worn down by existing. But hearing you talk makes it feel okay to slow down, to just breathe. I guess I just wanted to say thank you for being a voice that reminds me that it's okay to take it easy, even when the world feels too loud. my my feelings are all over the place because of that letter. Thank you. I really appreciate that. You know, TMR listener 19, sometimes the letters without questions are the ones that speak the loudest. You don't need a reason to rest or to earn peace. You are enough simply because you are. And I thank you for spending your nights here at the Midnight Radio. Maybe that's the whole secret to surviving these nights. Not fighting the quiet, but learning to let it hold you. To exist softly without explanation. Thank you so much for listening and for being here. I truly, truly appreciate it. The world will keep spinning, yeah. That's a given, that's for sure. The noise will return, undoubtedly. But for now, here on this little frequency, between sleep and waking, between here and there, you can stay still. You can be easy. And I'll be here, haunting the airwaves, keeping you company until we wrap up this episode. Those letters were very much felt, seen, and heard. I think you guys noticed that. I can honestly relate to it to a degree. So, once again, thank you so much for those who sent over those letters. And now we turn our attention to a few other active souls who have taken the time to send some kind words and comments in whatever corner of the internet I end up appearing in. Honestly, I did not expect this kind of warm welcome just a few episodes in. And you guys are the reason why I've ended up loving what I do now even more. Your comments always make my day, and I'm glad you've been finding our content so far, whether it's the Midnight Radio or its outtakes, both peaceful and entertaining. The night is a way of reminding us of the things we try to bury under the noise, the guilt, the weariness, the quiet truth that we all need to take it easy sometimes. But I guess that's what the space is for, right? To sit together in the stillness, to remember what peace feels like, even if only for a few minutes. Stay with me for a little while longer, dear listener. Let's ponder on a few thoughts together. I was actually thinking about the whole taking it easy thing. The world asks so much of us to move faster, to work harder, to stay connected, to stay visible. There's always something to fix, something to prove, something to change. And in that endless noise, the constant hum of more, more, and more, it's quite easy to forget that we are not machines. We're not made to run without rest. We are flesh and heart and fragile bone. Well, I don't think I am in that sense, but that doesn't make me any different. We are meant to pause. But pausing, sometimes that's the hard part, isn't it? Because the moment we stop, the silence arrives. And in that silence, all the things we've been running from, the doubts, the guilt, the voices in our head, they finally catch up. So we keep going. We keep scrolling. We keep working. We keep distracting ourselves. We keep telling ourselves that, this is fine. Like, as long as my head is busy, as long as I have something to do, then it's all fine. It's all good. We tell ourselves we'll rest once this list is done, but the list never ends, doesn't it? I honestly don't think that it's laziness when one takes a rest, and I hope my living self remember that. It's courage. It takes courage to slow down in a world that rewards exhaustion. It takes strength to look at the chaos around you and say, no, no, I will not burn myself to prove that I am alive. Because the truth is, life doesn't always reward the fastest. Sometimes, it rewards the ones who notice, the ones who stop long enough to feel the wind, to feel it shift, to see the moon rise, to hear their own heartbeat and think, I'm still here. I'm still alive. I'm still well. I'm still on this journey. Maybe you've forgotten what rest feels like. Maybe you've mistaken it for weakness. But rest is a form of peaceful rebellion. Every time you let yourself breathe without guilt, you are defying a world that thrives on exhaustion. Every moment you give yourself, a nap, a slow walk, a quiet night, just a few minutes or a few hours of just being yourself, is a small act of peaceful rebellion against everything that tells you that your worth depends on your productivity. So tonight, I want you to try something. I want you to imagine your mind as kind of like an old radio, the kind that hums and crackles when the frequency is searching. You've been tuning through the channels all week. These channels are like your tasks, your worries, the conversation, and all the noise. But now, turn the dial. Find the quiet frequency. The ones that hums softly beneath all the chaos. And that's where you'll find yourself again. That's where rest lives. Allowing yourself to take it easy doesn't mean abandoning your dreams, doesn't mean abandoning your progress. It doesn't mean you've given up. It means you're trusting that the world won't fall apart without you, even for just a moment. It means you're learning to live like the tides, pulling back when you've gone too far and letting yourself return to still waters. You can't bloom if your roots are dry, my dear dead air darlings. Sometimes, ironic as it sounds, the most profound thing you can do is nothing at all. Sit with yourself. Feel the weight leave your shoulders. Listen to the air move through the room. The world doesn't always need your effort. Sometimes it just needs your presence. Be here. Be still. Breathe. And that's enough for tonight. And before this episode ends, before tonight ends, I want you to remember this. You are not behind. You are not lazy. You are not wasting time by resting. You are healing. You are recharging. You are making space for what's next. And that is the quiet kind of bravery that honestly no one sees, But it's the one that keeps you alive. So, rest easy, my dear dead air darlings. Turn off the lights, or turn a small one if you're afraid of the dark. Let the static sing you to sleep. You've done enough for today. Once again, I'm your phantom broadcaster, Makeeya, and you've been listening to the Midnight Radio. Wherever you are, either you're between dreams, between breaths, between days, may the peaceful quiet find you. Until the next one, sleep well, dream deep, and don't let the shadows get lonely.